good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Edwina. Hello, Kathy. Hi, Mary Lee. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Philip. Lovely to see you all. Really lovely to see you all. Do you know you're about to see a lot of really exciting things happen in the positive prime world? And so let me bear with myself and I'll actually share the screen. So at Positive Prime, we're expanding and we're entering a new era. And the reality is we are all going to rise up, hopefully, and into the Positivity Club as members. It's not compulsory, it's not necessary. I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite desirable. The Positivity Club is an extraordinary concept that we're birthing right now. Within the last 12 to 24 hours, we have opened the doors. It takes quite a bit to understand what we're doing, why we're doing, and how we're doing it. But suffice to say, if you are a Positive Prime annual subscriber, you are eligible to actually join the XPO Club. What we're actually really doing in the grand scheme of things is explained by this website, positivityclub.com. There are lots of different reasons why people will join the club. One of it might be because you want a really nice, safe and beautiful on-ramp into the blockchain world, into, I suppose, the focus on cryptocurrencies, but what does that really mean in the grand scheme of things for the future of e-commerce? And how does that actually dovetail into transformative technologies? And what are we doing around gamifying, or otherwise known as rewarding people for doing that which is good for them? And so as Positive Prime subscribers, we will be unveiling a program that you'll all be able to participate in, where you'll be gifted actual tokens. Positivity tokens is what it's going to be called. And those positivity tokens you'll actually hold in your own cryptocurrency wallet, something like a MetaMask wallet. And you will earn fractions of tokens from viewing Positive Prime sessions. And as we proceed along this path over the next 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months, you will actually discover that there are other activities and exercises that you can contribute to or participate in, where you'll be earning fractions of tokens. And what does that mean? You'll be increasing your balance of tokens, and then you'll be able to spend your tokens on all sorts of services and products, mostly that are related to health and well-being, with coaches and therapists and healers and so forth. So we are entering a new era, and it's very, very exciting. We actually did an official secret launch last night to an inner circle to birth our token, our positivity token, and to anchor it. It's like planting seeds in very fertile grounds. And so it's interesting because it's a moment that I've been working towards for a very long time. And it's really about how we add even more value to every single one of you, all of the members of our community. We actually do have here Jackie Simmons. Who would like to raise your hand if you've got a question you've come to this meeting with, you really want answered? And we'll dive into that. And then I'm going to ask Jackie to explain the Positivity Club, the positivity tokens, and how it relates to Positive Prime in a short, sharp summary, after we actually really, I would say, dive in deep with something that people might really feel in their souls they want to address. Is there anybody? You can unmute yourself, come on out and ask, and/or you can write in the chat. Anything from anyone? I'll go off on a rant or a rave. No, Winnie, you're happy? Do you want to learn about No, you're not happy, or you are happy? Oh, you're not happy. You're not happy? No. Let me just make you a co-host for a second, Edwina, so that I can actually unmute you. And then you can share with us. I love this frantic yes and no, but I don't really know what it means.
Well, first of all, for those of you that do pray, I really want, I'm in Texas. And so I know you all know what's going on here in Texas. So I just would ask that you pray for us, because it's very difficult. My question is this: when I go to Prime, I'm able to find things in direct sales. I'm not in direct sales, but I'm in sales. I open up accounts. So what would I be looking at? Because I'm looking at those and I'm listening to Super Mix and those, but what else is there? Because they all seem to be just direct sales.
You know, Edwina, I love that question. See, our affiliate program or affiliate programs, referral commissions that are paid to people for the successful conversion in terms of deal making and negotiation and so forth. It's all sales. I learned very early on, and I was so lucky that in my corporate life, my ability to persuade in a compelling way my ideas at a boardroom table was really about me selling my idea. And a lot of people think that if they're in a back of house role in a large organization, they're not actually in the business of selling. But oh yes, they are. They're absolutely in the business of selling. I rose up the corporate ladder very quickly. It was a fast trajectory, almost vertical. I believe that one of the reasons why I was so outrageously successful in such an outstanding way as such a young woman was because even when I was at college, my part-time jobs were working as one of those promotional girls in the department stores you can imagine, like Saks or Neiman Marcus, and spraying the perfume. And I went to these workshops on how to be a great promotion girl. Really, we were just models, pretty girls who were, you know, fluffing around in the cosmetics department, except that the training was magnificent. And it helped us to really figure out that when somebody asked you about that particular perfume, you told them about what made parfum exquisite and expensive. And most human beings, they actually discount the top because they think that they're not worthy and deserving. And so here at Positive Prime, we've got sessions around helping all of us to feel more worthy and deserving. That's actually excellent so that we can become more discerning consumers of other people's ideas, other people's agendas, other people's concepts, other people's philosophies, other people's, you know, proposals. We can go on and on. And interestingly enough, they actually taught us to also, after presenting the most expensive, present the lowest on the ladder. And the reason why they said that is because most human beings don't like to feel like they're cheap. In Australia, I'm sure, as in North America, you've got the phrase of being a tight ass. It's not a very flattering phrase, not a very nice label, but what it essentially means is that you're too mean and miserly, and you'll go for the lowest common denominator. Most human beings actually don't want to be there either. And so what they say is that the third option you should present in any one of these is the middle of the road. Now, most companies ensure that the products in the middle of the road are the highest margin products, because that's actually where the volume is. That's what people choose to buy. They don't want to feel like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, so they won't go for the lowest on the ladder. Most people don't feel worthy and deserving to go for the highest. A lot of people talk themselves out of it. It's not sensible to spend that kind of money, or whatever else is their money story. And then they actually will choose the middle option. What they don't know is that's actually stacked in the company's favors in all circumstances, because that's where the highest margins are. And that's certainly where the highest margins should be. So let me just very quickly answer your question, Edwina. There is a very specific session called Super Sales. And Super Sales is for anybody who wants to sell anything in any way, shape, or form.
Watch that.
You've watched it?
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. What I also do is I actually watched this yesterday before my own presentation, Surrendering and Letting Go. Awesome salespeople present confidence to the outcome. They've surrendered and they've let go.
Right.
That's the art of allowing. I'm sure you already know that one. Do you watch this one as well?
No.
Okay, surrendering and letting go, I would say, is one of those really important sessions to watch. What's showing up here is also Jen's session on healing and creativity. I often believe that we become much better salespeople, and nobody ever feels like they're being sold to when we've done all of our own self-healing. When we're not actually presenting somebody something that is in our best interests, we can actually be in service of another for what is in their best interest. And that means that you're transferring enthusiasm for them and they feel it. So I would say that any healing that you might want to do, there's also a fantastic healing. I'm going to just go to Nadine's. Heart consciousness is a really fantastic session for helping your heart to heal. And what I would say, these human beings, if you don't already know, do you know who Paul Sheely is from Paraliminals? This is very, very early work that I did. Dr. Paul Sheely and his business partner, Cheryl Volk, they're exquisite human beings. They're truly clever. This is a great session about discovering your resources within. And I have a feeling, but I'm sure it's proven by some pretty good social science, that those people who are exceptional at sales are extremely resourceful. They understand their strengths and their gifts and their talents, and they leverage them to the benefit of others, right? So one of the exercises, I'm sure I've already explained this before, is I would go through understanding what your strengths and gifts and talents are, which I would write down. I would say, I'm really strong in verbal communication. I'm really strong in conveying my messages with passion. Whatever it is that you think is a strength or a gift or a talent, I think is a really important part of the steps. The other healing one here, Audrey Weidman's. Heal Your Heart is a very interesting session. And I think this is also about heart energy. I think that this is where we're at for this time. So I'm certainly in Texas. I think everybody's hearts have been wounded, everybody all over the world. Nobody could have heard the story of what has occurred and not had very mixed emotions about it. Without being political, down under here in Australia, we have extraordinarily strict gun control. But part of my reaction was, shouldn't there really be control over the media? If people think they're going to become famous for these kinds of acts where forgiveness is the only answer, then making them celebrities is not a wise path forward. And I think the media should be gagged.
They're actually working on something like that because of that reason.
Yeah. I think that's very, very good. If you can't have gun control in America, then you've got to control some other aspects of the pieces of the puzzle. Now, I will tell you, the Positivity Club, I think, is one of the anti-venoms. I really, truly do. I think that when we live in a society where we virally spread goodness, we just might turn the volume up so much so on the lights that have been dimmed within every single one of us. And we could pay more attention to spreading positivity. We've actually, the architecture we've created, we've structured our positivity token such that when it is shared, every single person benefits, because there is this aspect called reflection technology. And it might sound very, I don't know what that means. It's okay if you don't know what that means. Ultimately, it means that all boats rise on a positively rising tide. Every single person who's involved, who holds positivity tokens, is going to benefit from holding those positivity tokens. It's an extraordinary aspect of the economics in token economies, which is part of the story around blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's phenomenal. It's something I really didn't understand about 6 months ago. And now that I appreciate it, I am completely in awe of the possibilities and the potential and how it relates to every single one of us, normal, real people, right? So I hope that that's helped. I definitely know that there are some other aspects to being awesome at sales. Being well hydrated, it's been proven. You speak differently when you're well hydrated. I don't know if you know that. Some people find themselves tongue-tied when they're not well hydrated. Having slept very well and having really deep sleep. So I've talked before about sleep hygiene. It's very important. Naturally recharging yourself gives you, so if you go out and spend time in nature and you anchor yourself into that energy that is Mother Earth, you're actually healing from a cellular level from within. That becomes this exuberance that facilitates successful sales. And so it might seem unrelated, but it is so critical that you take care of yourself and your environment around you. You can see I have some beautiful fresh flowers in a vase. I could have lots of pot plants here, lots of greenery, soaking up the negative ions. I live near the coast, so the Pacific coast, so I can go to the ocean and I can recharge. I can bury my feet in the sand and I can feel like that's actually giving me that extra oomph. Anybody who is up to really important work on the planet is in some way, shape, or form involved in sales. Full stop, end of story.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. So are you all hanging in there? You're all happy now? Shall I continue? Well, I invite Jackie Simmons on out. Jackie, share with us the summary of the Positivity Club and positivity, the token, what's meaningful for you, why do you think it's so significant, why is it a perfect time now? I've got 10,000 questions of you, but I'll just let you go for it. Let me make you a co-host so that you can actually unmute yourself, and then let me put the spotlight on you, and then away we go.
All right. So thank you. The Positivity Token and the Positivity Club are both pathways, not just to positivity, but to prosperity for everyone involved. So no high level stuff with me. I'm a real brass tacks person. I actually host calls 6 days a week where people can get all of these details and understand how it applies to them, even if they know nothing about Positive Prime. So you all understand Positive Prime. Here's what's coming. It's not just about the tokens. It's not just about what you're going to be able to do with the tokens, the products and services, the fact that you could be a provider of products and services within this community potentially. You know, you can receive tokens for your goods and services. You can be part of the driving of this within the token side. And you can also improve the condition of your wallet and whatever your currency of your country is at the same time, really, really quickly. 4 types of money. There's totally passive, and that's the reflection tax. On the cash side, there's nothing totally passive, but there is residual. And residual money, ongoing money, you're familiar with already with the Positive Prime affiliate link. And now people can use your Positive Prime affiliate link, have an annual subscription in Positive Prime. That's the common denominator. You can only become a member of the Positivity Club, but if you're an annual Positive Prime subscriber. They join the club. There are 9 different levels of membership, and there's an affiliate relationship for that. So now you're not just earning your 50% Positive Prime affiliate, which is ongoing. You have money now with the Prosperity Club affiliate link that pays at 12%. It's a super easy way to bring more cash flow in. I was part of a beta launch around this in April, and I watched my income go up by over $7,000 in April. It's a really fast cash return simply by sharing what's so good about Positive Prime and what's so good about the Positivity Club. The ability to have this kind of tangible return from the personal development work, from the work I've done around my limiting beliefs around money and limiting beliefs in general. And now to have a very tangible return on that. As much fun as the club is, as much fun as the community is, as happy as I am for the gamification, and because I love to play and I'm slightly competitive, I absolutely like cash flow. I believe multiple streams of income is a really good thing. So I lay this all out in a 1-hour call. If you want the link for that, I have one tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. And on Wednesday, I start 6 nights a week at 9 p.m. Eastern. So the registration link you're going to love. Are you ready? The registration link is Positivity Calls. And like I said, tonight it's at 10 p.m. So every other time it'll be at 9. And that website just went live. And I'm very excited to be able to support you. Oh, and by the way, I do this as a global support. If you have a friend who you want to introduce both the Positive Prime and the Positivity Club, you can invite them to the meeting that I host. And when you do, you come with them and you bring your affiliate link. I do not drop my link in that meeting. I hold these meetings to support you and your vision and your goals. Now, why would I do that? One, it's a great community and I want to support it. And thanks to reflection tax, where every time tokens get gifted to people who join the club, we all get more tokens, including me. So, you know, truly a rising tide can lift all boats. And there's nothing faster rising than getting your brain on positive, which you already know from using Positive Prime. The challenge that people are going to have is that it is so inexpensive by comparison to anything out there that gives a cash return quickly. An annual membership in Positive Prime, you round it up, it's only $200. A contribution and not a membership fee into the lowest level of membership in the Positivity Club is only $300. So someone can get their brain on positive and get their wallet on prosperous for $500. It's a really simple, easy way for people to start seeing something that they're not seeing in the world very much right now, which is optimism. When you know that you have a path, when you know that someone has laid out a plan, and it's not just about positivity, which we know your brain on positive is 31% more productive. So you're 37% more likely to close sales, according to Sean Aker, the happiness professor from Harvard. Your brain on positive is a major shift in your life. And now with the Positivity Club, we have a vehicle to quickly take that positivity and turn it into prosperity. So it lands in our wallet. And because it's 3 tiers, that's why I said I explain it in a little slower and a little more detail. Starting with what's so good about Positive Prime and how it works, into what's so good about the Positivity Club and why it's a community that you might want to add into your life. We're a lot of fun. That's reason number 1. It's a lot of fun to be here. So, and very financially rewarding. And if you haven't watched Leaving Shouldville, that's the session that I co-created with Positive Prime. It has some of the most upbeat music with it. And the message is really clear in there that you haven't done it wrong, that you can't live life wrong, and that you don't need to be in shoulding on yourself or anyone else, because all that does is bring the energy down. So Leaving Shouldville has messages for your brain on how to give up and rewrite the stories that have held your energy down. So that's a session that I highly recommend. And I'm happy to support, answer questions, do whatever I can for this community and for you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. Jackie, I would love for you to share with everybody just a little bit more about who you are right? So the elevator spiel about who is Jackie Simmons, other than the woman I know has a heart of gold, and she's visionary, and she's very demanding of herself and others in terms of being a force for good in the world.
The elevator pitch of Jackie Simmons. I teach elevator pitches. Among other things, I'm a business coach. I'm also a stress management consultant. I'm also director of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society, a TEDx speaker, and the creator of Conscious Transformational Coaching, where I teach coaches and healers how to get guaranteed results for their clients, how to permanently resolve the negative emotional trauma around events from the past with no one ever needing to talk about them. So no one gets re-traumatized. As you can imagine, I got into the Teen Suicide Prevention Society for a very personal reason. I created it with my daughters because one of my daughters is a suicide attempt survivor. She broke the silence. A few months later, we had a nonprofit. And now we are on a mission to get people to have the talk that stops suicidal thinking before you think it's needed. To help that effort along, I gave a TEDx talk, and now it's a TED Talk. And so the talk that saves lives is what we give away for free on the Teen Suicide Prevention site. Needless to say, we're an affiliate with Positive Prime. And then in my company, what do? I want you to have the best life possible in the shortest amount of time. So Positive Prime puts really good things in. And what I realized is that the movie Avatar said it best. It's hard to put something into a vessel that's already full, especially if you're full of negative thinking about your past. You've been triggered. You have all of the trauma going on in the world that you're exposed to and you can't avoid. So we resolve the trauma to make space for the positive. And that's me. I'm really glad to be here with you.
Woo! That's beautiful, Jackie. Fantastic. And as you can all tell, we are blessed, truly honored with Jackie's presence inside our world. What I do want to draw your attention to is an interview that we did with Jackie, so you can listen to the full story, not just the highlights reel. So bear with me while I guide you through. So you'll want to be logged in as a Positive Prime subscriber. And down here in this navigational bar on the left, you'll see the word stories. If you click on stories, it will open up in another tab a list of great stories. These are really vodcasts or podcasts. And if you scroll down over here, you'll actually see Jackie Simmons, waking up the world to hope, harmony, and honest conversations. And so if you scroll down and then you click here to watch this podcast, what'll actually happen is it'll open up a new page and you'll be able to watch Jackie Simmons' session on this page. Guess what else you'll be able to do? Watch a little clip that is from the interview that we did with her. You can read the article if you like. It's a very, very valuable message, one we wholeheartedly support. And then, in case you want to go straight to Jackie's TED Talk, here it is. Woo! And then this is actually the full interview that we did. I co-host these interviews with Benny Wallington, and obviously this particular page is specifically one that Jackie uses to share her story with others. So that was on the stories page. At the moment it's positioned down on the second row over on the right. And you get to that by going and clicking on stories once you're actually logged in. So I hope that helps. That's been an awesome 30 minutes, hasn't it? Really awesome. I hope that I've been able to serve you. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. We'll see you all here next week while we dive into a little more. I will tell you that I had one of those moments. For those of you who show up to a lot of these group gatherings that we put together, I actually last week spoke about Dr. Diane Shelton and her session, Transforming Trauma, and I talked about how she is the psychologist who worked on the Sandy Hook story. And less than 24 hours later is when I saw the headlines for something that happened in Texas. And I did think to myself, I'm pretty esoteric. I really balance out the spiritual with the scientific. And I don't know what made me mention Dr. Diane's session last week, but I'm glad I did. And so what I absolutely know for sure is if some of you want to or need to, Dr. Diane Shelton's session is perfect for this moment in time. Let me show you how you actually find that in case you don't know how to easily find sessions. Once you're actually logged in, maybe you need to refresh if you've been away from your browser for a little while. Up here in the search bar, right up in the top, you can put in Diane. And if you just get a little bit of the name right, it should show up. So it's Transcending Trauma by Dr. Diane Shelton. It's a beautiful session, and I think rather poignant and necessary for this moment in time. What we do know is some people who are traumatized end up indulging in addictions that aren't exactly helpful for them. And if you're in recovery and you need some reinforcement, this particular woman, Sherry Gabba, who is a fantastic licensed psychotherapist, specializes in the recovery process, particularly for those people who have any kind of addiction. She actually has a magazine that she's the editor of. She's an incredible, wise soul. Funnily enough, I thought of you, Jackie Simmons, because you live in Florida, and Sherry has actually just bought herself a condominium in Florida, and she's spending half a year over there in Florida, and she spends the other half of her year in California on the other coast. That was the last time I caught up with Sherry, was actually in Los Angeles. And so I hope that that helps. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Bring your great questions and your energy. And I would say, go and check out Jackie's positivity calls. You owe it to yourself to find out some more. And we'd love to have you on this journey with us. Mwah. Bye.